if the only contribution to the stress tensor in a fluid is given by the pressure, then the conservation of momentum yields the Euler equations. If, however, other forces are in play, like for example viscous forces, then the stress tensor is more complicated. In that case, we can follow a similar derivation as we did for the other equations. Now, however, we will find a more general case, the Navier Stokes equations, as we will see in this video. So we start out with the same setup as for the other equations. We have at time 0 some fluid blob in region R0. At time t, this fluid blob has gone somewhere completely else and it now occupies the volume R. At time tr, fluid blob has velocity ui as function of small xj, t, where small x is the current coordinate. And in between there is some mapping r of xk, t, a some mapping that tells us if our blob is initially at time 0 here, then at time t it is over there. Just need to know that we have a mapping like that. We can parameterize our blob at time t by this function r of xk, t, and we can use that to evaluate our integral later on. What we do know is, though things are changing, what is not changing is the amount of mass here and there. So the amount of mass here is rho 0 dv 0, the mass there equals rho dv. So rho 0 dv 0 is still rho dv. So what did we have? We have the total amount of momentum in this region over here. Pi is the mass times velocity. So because the density is not constant, we have to integrate rho dv to get the total mass. And also the u is not constant, so we have an integral rho times u. And now, very nice trick, we can convert this integral over the region R, which is changing all the time. That is very annoying. We can convert this integral to an integral over the fixed region R0 using this parameterization. And then we have our integral for R0, u times rho 0 dv 0. And now it's relatively easy to compute the time derivative. So we take time derivative because the only times are occurring here and there. And not in rho 0, not in dv 0, so no Jacobian is involved or whatever. So our time derivative is just a total time derivative of u, rho 0 dv 0. Total time derivative of u equals partial derivative plus du dx dx dt. This stays the same. And then we again convert back. So after taking the time derivative, we convert back to the coordinates where we are at time t, and we integrate over the region R, and we get rho dv. So we use this whole machinery, this whole trick is going to another region just to be able to compute this time derivative to see why it goes in over here. Then force balance, forces acting on R, so force acting here. So if you have the stress tensor, force acting on R, total force is given by the stress tensor, integrate over the surface surrounding it, plus possibly some body forces. Using the divergence theorem, we can convert this into one integral. And now we are starting to diverge from the path we took for the other equations, because now our sigma ij is not only just minus pressure delta ij, but we have some general tol ij added to it, which has this form with two parameters, lambda and mu. So what does this mean? If we write down the conservation of momentum, here we have the change of the momentum, here we have the total force. This holds for any region R, so if the integrals are the same, integrands have to be the same. So this integrand equals that integrand, but now our sigma ij will become different. So till now the derivation follows the lines of the other equations, apart from the fact that your sigma ij becomes a bit different. So what does this mean? Well, we need a tol ij comma j. So we have tol ij has this form over here. We will now assume incompressible flow. Well, you do not need to do that, but it makes the equation a bit easier, and it's often an assumption is valid. If your flow is not incompressible, yeah, well, you should just keep the term is uk comma k. But if you are incompressible, the tau ij is a bit easier. You just have viscosity times ui comma j plus uj comma I. So if you differentiate with respect to xj, you have a ui comma jj plus a uj comma ji. But here we also simplify because uj comma ji equals uj comma j, and then differentiate. But we are incompressible, so uj comma j equals 0. So we're only left with the first term, viscosity times basically the Laplacian of u. Now if we have to take the sigma ij comma j, so the only difference is that we now also have the pressure added. We already have the tau ij comma j equals then mu times ui comma jj. So we have a minus pressure gradients plus a Laplacian of u. So we in the Euler equation we only have this one, and in Navier Stokes this one over here is added. So what do we have then if we write down conservation of momentum? This is what we already had. The body forces, we already had those. And what is added is this term, the tau ij comma j, pressure gradients, and now because we have viscosity, we also have a term with the viscosity. Furthermore, so this is conservation of momentum, we have conservation of mass. We already assumed that we are incompressible, so we have uk comma k equals 0. Now let's write down this in component form. So what do we have then? In component form, this one is easy. So u1 equals u, u2 equals v, u3 equals w, x1 equals x, x2 equals y, and x3 equals z. You just get ux plus vy plus wz equals 0. So that's this one. Then let's take a look at the first term, for example, and divide by rho. So you get du dt, you get u1 du dx plus u2 du dy plus j equals 3 gives you a w times du dz. I equals 1 here, so we get a minus dp dx plus the Laplacian of u plus the first body force. So that gives you your first PDE here, and the other ones go similarly. So let's take a look. What do we have? We have as independent variables x, y, z, and time. So 4 independent variables. What are our dependent variables? Well, the u, the v, and the w are our independent variables, and our pressure, 4 independent variables, and b, the body force, are given. So now we have finally 4 PDEs in terms of 4 independent variables. So we have a full set of equations, and then we can start to solve them. Well, that is still a bit tricky because they are all coupled, they are heavily nonlinear in all these terms. So solving them is another story, but at least we have the PDEs that we want to solve and that we need to solve.